There is little difference in people, but that little difference makes a big difference. The little difference is attitude. The big difference is whether it is positive or negative. The words of W. Clement Stone, who is one of the original self-help gurus from the early 20th century. Attitude, disposition, feeling, orientation, especially of mind. What would you do to someone who kept talking trash about you and to you? Everything you did was wrong, and everything that happened to you was going to turn out bad. You say yes, they say no. You say black, they say white. You say I can, they say you can't. I hope you would get them out of your life. However, we all have that doubting voice inside of us to some extent too. The winners in the world are able to silence the negative voice and listen only to the positive voice. Leaders impact people. That's external. But everything they do is based on how they think and feel internally. Ultimately, it's your attitude that determines much of your success. Your attitude about yourself, your employees, a given situation, the market, and of course, you are responsible for and can choose your attitude. There are a number of excellent books on success that center on this very concept. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and As a Man Thinketh by James Allen are two that readily come to mind and warrant further study. Allen states, a man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. If someone is inclined to think poorly of people and situations, they will generally experience poor outcomes. Conversely, a positive attitude has the potential to create positive outcomes. In the physical world, we accept and expect that a tomato will create tomato seeds, which, in turn, create more tomatoes. A gorilla will give birth to a gorilla, and so forth. What then of ideas and attitudes? They're no different. Good ideas and attitudes give birth to good things. Leaders can't really have bad days. This is not to say you should be walking around singing zippity-doo-dah every day. That would be inappropriate and would deny the seriousness of the issues you face. You will have bad moments, but you must adjust your attitude and quickly get back on the right track. Your people can't have a bad day because you're having a bad day. What happened with one employee at 9 a.m. should not color the conversation you have with another employee at 10 a.m. An old saying contends that if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. We can safely modify that here to say that if the boss isn't happy, nobody is happy. It's your choice, and it comes from your attitude. There are a number of universally recognized steps you can take to work on your attitude. To begin thinking more positively, simply look for and embrace the good, and there's a lot of that out there. As noted earlier, read Think and Grow Rich and other inspiring texts and associate with positive, productive people. Then get rid of the negative. Nothing can ruin your good attitude faster than a group of cynical friends or associates who are quick to complain about anything. These sucking holes of negativity are like black holes in the universe. They suck in our energy and wear us down. Steer clear of them. They are often found in break rooms and office kitchens doing more complaining than working. Avoid at all costs. You must get rid of other negative influences as well, or minimize. We are surrounded by noise, by self-appointed experts telling us what we should be thinking and feeling. Cut the noise. Talk radio, the internet, and a few hundred cable television channels can be on the top of your things not to do list. It's impossible to think clearly and maintain a positive attitude when your brain is continually filtering noise and unnecessary information. Find a way to give yourself some space so your brain can do the hard work of thinking for itself and helping you maintain your positive attitude. If this concept is of interest to you, I invite you to read Why is Everyone So Cranky by Leslie Charles. For many people, the first step toward improving job performance is improving how they feel about themselves. Researcher J.R. Gribble notes that for 8 in 10 people, self-image matters more in how they rate their job performance than their actual job performance. In other words, if they feel good about themselves, they feel good about how they're doing their job. Not only that, a positive outlook can help you stay healthy. A study of 124 first-year law students confirmed that when optimism increased, so did immune function. And when optimism decreased, so did the immune system. This research has been repeated elsewhere with similar results. We now understand that the immune system is not a standalone system. It's closely integrated with our nervous system, which is closely integrated with our brains and attitudes. Further, it's more the sum total of thoughts and experiences that matter. An event may be crucial in the short term, but researchers find that people's enduring self-concept, their view of who they are and what they are capable of, is tied not to any single positive or negative event. As you see, a positive attitude is not a part-time thing. We must work at it continually. The payoff is a higher likelihood of employees who look to the positive and therefore more positive things happening for you and your company. A positive attitude may not solve all your problems, but it will annoy enough people to make it worth the effort. The words of Herm Albright. Let's take a look at attitude in action. Fran Burke is the Vice President of Operations for Falconer Construction. They specialize in site work and horizontal infrastructure projects in the Southeast. I've known Fran for a long time, and he has always struck me as one of the most positive people I've ever known. He was the logical person to talk with about this attitude thing. And as with all fine leaders, he took the opportunity to point out someone else from his team rather than shine the light on himself. Here are some of his comments. We first brought Mindy to Falconer as an intern. Talk about a challenge. She was our first intern and she was female. And as you know, there are some in this industry who haven't fully come into the 21st century as it relates to gender equality. But she shrugged it off and she simply went to work. We were so impressed, we invited her back the next year and hired her when she graduated. She quickly learned the ropes and was ready to run a project. We assigned her to the Meadow Creek Parkway project. This was not your basic new road. It went through a park. There was some heavy opposition to the project. Once we finally did get notice to proceed, railroad, trail, and utility conflicts kept popping up. Virginia DOT was a great owner for this $15 million project, but with any level of government, the bureaucracy can be frustrating, not only because of the inherent problems it brings, but this was all made worse by the small but vocal opposition to this job. Mindy was up against a very difficult situation. Injunctions, easements, and public outcry, coupled with vandalism on the job, which destroyed over $100,000 worth of equipment. And this was her first project as project manager. Fran visited her at job site one day early on, and he made a comment about hanging in there, lasting until the end. And he said, I'll never forget her response. She said, very matter-of-factly, I'm glad you assigned me to this project. I'm truly thankful. Really? Fran replied, why is that? Because, Mindy explained, if I can manage this project, I can manage anything. What a great attitude. And she's getting it done. Years later, Mindy is now a vice president and bringing her own positive attitude to an entire region. Certainly, Mindy is skilled at her job, but not so much more than others that it sets her apart. What truly sets her apart is her attitude. Here's a couple of things you can do to jumpstart your attitude. First of all, stay hydrated. Many studies have been done to show that dehydration can make you confused, angry, tense, and blue. It can even impair your decision-making. That might explain my college calculus grades, but anyway. Make a list of things you're grateful for. There are many things in our lives that go well every single day. Do you have a gratitude list? We tend to focus on the negative, it brings us down. Can we find the positive so it can bring us up? Have a gratitude list. Maybe before the end of each day, you list 3 things you're grateful for. Know that nothing will bother you in the long term. If it does, give it 10 seconds, deep breath in, deep breath out, and then move on. Smile, and then smile some more. There's a lot of research that says all those muscles and micro expressions and everything, when we smile, people generally smile back at us, and these reciprocity and reciprocal actions help improve our attitude. So smile. And then, great read for you, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and It's All Small Stuff. One of my favorite books of all time. It's small, you can get through it really quickly, but it's got a whole bunch of tips, just like we did just talk about, to help you maintain a better attitude. So don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. Education without application is a waste of time. So how about a couple of questions? Maybe you jot them down. Great idea to get a journal to accompany your time in this series together. But on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being sucking hole in negativity, 10, nothing gets to you at all, what's your attitude like? Usually. This is a good one to go back to from time to time. Write, how would you like to be described by people? Be as graphic and as colorful as possible. Use adjectives. But how would you like to be described? List someone you know who exemplifies this trait, and why did you pick them? Don't just say they have a good attitude, but what specifically do they do? They come into work every single day, and then they have a smile on their face. They look people in the eye and they say, hey, how you doing? What specific actions and behaviors do they do? Is your self-talk generally positive, neutral, or negative? Tune into that. And what one thing will you do to improve in this area? We've talked about many things, and I hope you do many things, but what one thing will you do to improve in this crucial word, attitude?